Okay, I've got 6:30, so we'll get started. Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call the Park Township Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for Monday, September 8, 2025 to order. Before we get started, though, we got an introduction tonight. I guess we have a guest with us, Mika, that you want to.
We do indeed. Bill Cousins is our interim township manager, and he is here to introduce himself.
All right.
Good evening. Bill Cousins, I was here once before in 2016. I was the interim manager. So I've been here, and Park Township's a great place. It's one of the reasons why I came back. I retired from city government in 2013 after a career where I moved around the state of Michigan a bit. Evidently I wasn't done moving because this will be my 6th interim position since I retired 12 years ago. I love local government. I love what I do. I guess I'm good enough to be called back a few times. So I've been on the zoning board of appeals board. I've been the person to represent the zoning board of appeals. You do a heck of a job, and it's a tough one. I know from experience. Every decision you make impacts all 19,000 residents one way or another. So thanks for what you do, and take any questions if you have any.
No questions here.
Thank you.
Thanks for introducing yourself.
Thank you.
Thanks for being.
Hey, nice to meet you. All right. Well, with that, we've got the agenda in front of us. I'll look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
Support. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Agenda approved. Next item is our minutes from the August 4, 2025 meeting. We've got a copy of that. I got through that. I didn't see anything. I don't know if anybody else had any comments, but.
I move to approve the minutes for the August 4, 2025 meeting as presented.
We got a motion to approve. We got support? Support. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, our meetings have passed from August 4, which takes us to our next item for tonight for a public hearing of a request by Dean Snook for an accessory building area of 572 square feet where 365 is permitted. And also a side yard setback of 5 feet where 10 feet is required, and also for a rear yard setback where 15 feet where 25 feet is required per section 38-491 of the Park Township Code of Ordinances. Mika, is there any more you can bring to the table to introduce that for us?
This is at 257 Dakin. It's in the Wakazu Woods neighborhood, R3 zoning district. So you have the square footage, which is an administrative approval, and then the 2 setbacks, those are both variances. And so a little bit different standards for each of those. And Lorna has done the analysis for this one. So I'm here to support and I'll answer questions, but if I point to her, that's the reason why. She's the one who's really knowledgeable about this one.
Okay. Be ready, Lorna. Oh, thanks. I guess is the applicant here tonight? If there's any more you want to add or present to us, you're welcome to do that at this time.
I just want to say thank you for letting me present this, and thank you for Lorna for coming out and helping me through this process. She was very helpful from the time I thought about it to when she took pictures the other day. And so, I don't know, I'm just here for any questions you might have. Hopefully the neighbors I talked to, we're gonna hopefully send something in. I felt it only right to go discuss it and show the plans to all the neighbors that would be affected, everyone contiguous to me. and a couple down the street, and they all seemed receptive of what we wanted to do and where we wanted it placed, and just clean up the neighborhood. That corner gets to be a dumping ground for all the neighbors, and this would correct that. So.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thank you. We might have a question for you here, but. Okay. Well, I think if we've got everything in front of us, I think we've got the staff report. I think it makes sense the way they outlined it to have our setbacks reviewed as one item together simultaneously. I mean, I don't know if anybody's opposed to that, but I think that makes sense too. And then have a separate discussion about the square footage for the accessory building area. So is there any questions for the applicant right now? From us?
Mr. Chair, I don't have a question, but I think we should note for the record that we did receive 6 emails in support of this application. All indicating that they are neighbors of the applicant, all in favor. I didn't receive anything in opposition.
That's exactly what I saw too, so. So we make that, note that as part of the record. So we have standards for review, section 38-70 for the setbacks. And it's like there's 4, we've got 4 items to address for that review. I did take a look at the property. I mean, it is congested with trees, obviously being the setting of where it's at, and some mature trees too. So I understand the hardship there and trying to find a different location for that. It's detrimental to tree removal. So it seems like a good spot.
Mr. Chair, I do have one question for the applicant, if I may.
Yep.
There was a reference to replanting the holly.
Yeah, so there are hollies on the south side of the property.
Are those the hollies along the existing structure?
Yeah, I believe that is correct. So those would come out so that it wouldn't impede construction.
Okay,
And then they would go back right there, or I can add whatever. Hollies did really well there. My neighbor's surprised, the one with the 25-foot bamboo. And so yeah, so they're still there right today, and basically I would uproot them, plant them somewhere else in my yard during construction, and then place them back in that 5-foot buffer along that side of the property.
okay, and that was going to be my question between the new structure
And right, the lot line, yep.
Okay.
So that would be basically all vegetation on the south side of that. Well, good. I think they'll do okay. I think they've made it to this house, so although they've been here a long time, because I moved 24 years ago that I bought the house. And I hope to be here 24 more.
How long has your Kwanzaa hut thing been up here in this location? I'm just curious.
2 winters, so a year and a half.
Okay.
It is basically to cover the boat. Boat sits there and it was under a. One we got here. So the boat was just under a canopy during the summer before.
Okay,
And yeah, I just thought that was a neater appearance than either a shrink wrapped boat or a tarp over the boat or whatever. Yeah, when we moved in, the boat was way in the back corner, right on the lot line. And so over the years, we've moved things over and forward from where it has been, and just thought this was a nicer thing for it temporarily.
thank you.
Yep.
And the Holly you're referring to, Crystal, is figure 5 in the images that were attached. Is that what you're looking at? Mhm. I don't know if it makes sense. The order of these really doesn't make sense. Or have any influence over the other. I don't think really does it.
The square footage, I was just gonna pull up that chart. If you drop to a certain point in square footage, and I'll pull that up in a second, then the setback changes there.
Okay,
I'm not sure if it would be relevant with what you're looking at, so let me pull that up,
Okay.
that table up a second.
okay.
Yeah, if you hit the 350 square foot mark, that's when the setback changes. That's when that drops down to 5 feet for each, for both the rear and the side.
That it's permissible?
Correct. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah. Yeah, there's a little jump in that one.
Hmm.
So what's permitted by right is just slightly over that category, but then he's looking to go larger than that. Yes.
Yeah. I just wonder, I got another question for the applicant. Was there a consideration to go just 5 feet less in width to account for the 10-foot?
It was the reason to get a car and a boat in there. And there was really, there's two things that need to be stored. I'm trying to get it between the oak tree, 150-year-old oak tree that's there.
Yep.
And the property line. And this size structure fits between the 5-foot and the oak tree. And, I'm just trying to preserve any tree I can there. And so that was the
Okay,
sizing there to be able to fit both a car and a boat. I
so,
lost storage. I think I mentioned that in there. I lost storage for this vehicle that I've had for what, 30, 40 years that had been stored offsite. And I lost that. So that came to the house, and it'd be nice to have that inside because, yeah, a 50-year-old car does not do good outside.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yes. Yep, the one in the rear corner, yes, that.
Yeah.
Yes, that goes.
And that's a requirement in order to allow this to be permissible, right?
It is, yeah.
Okay,
That's what I understood.
yeah. Okay.
This building.
No, I did not list the height. It would be within the. The restrictions that are on there for that size building. More than likely, the highest, I think Lorna called me on that, and I think I said 16 feet would be the highest. And that'd probably be less because that would have been maybe a 612 pitch, and I think my house is a 412. And basically want this thing to be identical to the house, same board and batten siding on the front, and the other side, blue and white, just like the house is. So not to distract from any of it.
And just one more question, if you could approach when you respond, that'd be great. So the image here that you've also included, that's a representation of what you're planning.
It's going to be a little bit narrower than that because I think that's 24 foot.
Okay.
But yeah, so 22, between 20 and 22 feet wide.
Okay. With the fenestration, like the windows and the openings.
So basically one service door, one garage door on the front, and probably the windows on the north side. And the south side probably won't, and the east side will not have windows because that faces those neighbors' lots and stuff. So that would be what I'm shooting for.
So just the north and the west side has openings in it, essentially.
Correct.
Yeah. Got it.
Are you planning any utilities in here?
Just electric.
Just electric, no water or any?
No.
Okay.
And just one more thing to touch on the holly. That's on your property though, right? That is
Correct.
That's
on my property.
Yeah. Okay, you're just.
I mean, leave them on my property.
Okay. I just want to make sure.
Make it nice. Yeah. And then like where the old shed's coming down, that's way on the far side. But I had our North Pole arborvitaes in my cart the other day, but then I was debating whether I was just going to feed the deer with them or not.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that we had deer there, yesterday several times and whatever. We have plenty of deer in the neighborhood, so.
And I'm only asking because I know it looks like the hoop building, Plaza Hut, whatever you want to say, that edge was pretty close to the drive too already. So I was just curious. Property.
Yeah, those are all on.
Okay.
Ours.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone have any other questions or any more comments you think? Internally here? Oh, I think we're.
Appreciate the neighbors. To hear what the neighbors have to say. So it's very nice.
Yeah, you got a nice outreach there that occurred.
Yeah, we like all our neighbors and wouldn't do anything to offend them, and yeah, they've been great. And yeah, they've been receptive to everything, and it's like, yeah, I've gone, I swim in Mrs. Whitbeck's pool, and so to see, I sit in the pool, try to look, and it's like, okay, what is she gonna see if she's in the pool? You can't see anything from her house. And then same thing the other night, I was at Scott Walsh's house, like, okay, dinette, can't see anything, kitchen window, can't see anything, family room, can't see anything. Maybe his laundry room, but that window's up here. But I think that looks right over our driveway, and it'll be further behind that than that. So.
Yeah, you're welcome to sit down. I think we're all set
Well-
up here. So thank you.
You're if you need me.
Yeah,
Mr. Chair, I
Yes.
think that there has not yet been the public hearing held yet.
thank you. So with that, I'm going to open it up for public comment on this item. If anyone here wants to speak about this, please approach and give us your comments. Seeing no one is wanting to do that, I'm going to close public comment at this time. And turn it back over to us here at the board. Well, I'm open for a motion one way or another. If anybody has it? And if not,
I reviewed the staff comments
Mhm.
regarding the administrative request for a larger building for the 572 square feet where the 365 is permitted. And I agree with all of staff's comments as it relates to the building size. So I would move at this time that we approve the request for a 572 square foot building where 365 square feet is permitted.
Okay.
Under the standards in section 38-491, the first factor is that we are to consider the area of the accessory building in relation to the size of the lot on which it is to be placed. Staff comments indicate that while 3.1% of the lot is on the higher end of what has been approved by this board in the past, there was an accessory building approved at 14587 Vanessa in 2022 for the 3% lot coverage. Also, in this case, the size of the building is being requested to accommodate storage needs and also some garage space in the primary garage that is unusable due to accessibility reasons. And for those reasons, I believe that the first factor can be met. The second factor is that we are to consider the area of the accessory building in relation to the principal building on the lot on which the accessory building is to be placed. I agree with the staff comments that while the accessory structure is larger than permitted, it is on a lot with a two-story home. It is consistent with the architecture of the primary home based on the representations made in the application and at tonight's meeting. It is set back some distance to prevent disharmony visually between the primary home and the accessory structure. For that reason, that factor may be met. Third, we are to consider the location of the accessory building in relation to other buildings on adjoining lots and in relation to the principal building on the lot. Staff comments note that 265 Dyken has a vegetated buffer of bamboo along the property line that is shared with the applicant, which will assist in concealing the accessory structure from view. The applicant has indicated that there will be some vegetative buffer between the structure and the lot line on the south side. Also the setback from between the accessory structure and other surrounding houses is quite significant. And for that reason, that standard may be met. We have to next consider whether the accessory building will affect light and air circulation of any adjoining properties. Because of the dense vegetation in this area and the separation between the accessory structure and the surrounding structures, this proposed structure will have little impact on the light and air circulation for adjoining properties. And then finally, whether the accessory building will adversely affect the adjoining property or view from the adjoining property. And here, based on the configuration and the location, the accessory structure will have minimal impact on the views of other properties, taking into consideration the vegetative buffers. And also I would note, again, the emails and support indicate that all of these neighbors are aware of the plans or have reviewed the plan or spoken to the applicant, and all of them expressed support for the project and no concerns regarding light and air circulation, view, or any other adverse effects. So for that reason, I would move to approve this house.
Okay, thanks, Crystal. So we got a motion to approve the administrative request for 572 square feet in lieu of 365 square feet. So we'll take a roll call. Or we need support for that, I'm sorry. We have support from Jane. So we'll do a roll call.
Ms. Handel? Ms. Morgan? Yes. Mr. Cerny?
Yes.
Ms. Payne Nayak?
Yes.
Mr. Fleece?
Yes. All right, so the area request has been approved, which leaves us the setback variances. And with that, I agree with the staff comments that have been laid out in front of us as well for this one. And I guess, we've got the four standards that we've got to meet. And I feel like they can be, but I'll run through them at this time. So section 3870, again, side yard setbacks, for the yard setbacks, side yard, 5 feet, where 10 feet is required, and the rear setback of 15 feet where 25 feet is required. So the first standard that we've got to review is the strict compliance with the zoning ordinance regulating the minimum area, yard setbacks, frontage height, bulk or density or other regulation would render conformity with those restrictions of the zoning ordinance unnecessarily burdensome. Staff mentioned, based on the aerial imagery, the placement of the accessory building would be an impediment to maintain access. But with the limitations of what the site has to offer, it's really in a good location. So due to the narrow nature of that lot as well, and avoiding the removal of trees that is detrimental to the applicant and cost. So this would also reduce the visual appeal of the property if that were to happen. So I think based on those comments, that standard could be met. And also offers there's a continuation here that we should touch on too, that the applicant is storing their car and everything, outside, that this would offer the ability to have those indoors and out of sight, and have the property a little more aesthetically pleasing to the neighborhood. So I think that standard can be met based on those things. The second standard that we need to review, the granting the request of variance would do substantial justice to the applicant as well as to other property owners in the zoning district. As the applicant pointed out, I think we've commented that the accessory structure would improve the property's appearance, as it's going to remove that equipment from site. And there have been past structures that we've reviewed in the past where rear yard setbacks of variances similar to this have been granted. And I think that based on that, this standard could be met. And I think it's probably important on this standard to also note, like we did in the previous note, that there were 6 emails presented to us as well that were all in favor of the neighbors that would be impacted by this. So I think that is doing substantial justice to the applicant as well as the property owners that are adjacent. So I think that can be met. And then the third item that we should review, that the plight of the property owner is due to the unique circumstances of the properties and not due to general conditions of the zoning district. Again, we mentioned that the property shape is challenging and that northern property line doesn't allow for an accessory building to be placed very well, along with the additional trees that are kind of peppered throughout the property. Lends itself to even more hardship to access and provide a new structure in an area that would make sense. So that proposed location allows that driveway accessibility and prevents the destruction of the trees on the property. So I think that can be met. Then the last item we need to take a look at is that the practical difficulties are not self-created. And I think the circumstances around the car storage, like the staff has commented here, are not created by the applicant, nor are the accessibility needs of his wife. So I think that the applicant has performed what they can here to do all they can to provide themselves with a reasonable storage unit that can be accessed safely and without destruction throughout the property and the neighborhood for the context of what that neighborhood offers for trees, natural vegetation, et cetera. Additionally, the applicant has not performed any lot line adjustments or splits that created this difficulty. So the shape is just the natural circumstance of what has been provided for this instance. So again, not self-created. So I think that can be met.
Mr. Chair, based on those findings, I would make a motion to approve the variance request subject to some conditions, being that the structure is not to exceed 22 feet wide, that it is to be built in substantial compliance with the visual representations made to the board, and that it be equipped with electric only and no additional utilities without approval of the township.
Yeah, that's good amendments. And
Sorry, by the township, by the ZBA or by,
By the township.
okay.
I don't,
Because we can approve other utilities within an accessory building just on the staff level. And there's not really any, we have very, very little within the code at this point to restrict that at all.
so I think what the intent is so that we're not seeing this turned into an accessory dwelling or
Yeah,
something to
yeah.
that extent. So we could include that in the conditions if you feel that that's necessary.
I think, I don't see that happening in this case, but if that were something that you wanted to make sure of, we don't have anything in the code right now that's really stopping that. It's kind of a hole that we have. So something along that lines would probably be a good idea.
So I think then to add as a condition that it shall not be utilized as an accessory dwelling unit. Just to make that clear.
yeah, kind of infers that no other utilities are
Yeah.
permissible.
Sorry.
I said only if my wife kicks me out.
Well, don't tell us.
Don't make that known. Is another condition that we want to have placed here is that the vegetative buffer is going to be replaced along that east edge
Yes.
or south, I guess it'd be the south edge of the building.
Some plantings, just.
Yes.
Just that we indicated.
I definitely want.
No, I'll agree with that, to support that also.
Okay, so we've got a motion.
Is there also a condition about the other storage building coming down? Or
I
does
think
that?
that's a requirement.
Yeah, we could include
Okay.
that. Do you want us to include that in the conditions, or is that part of the permit that is issued?
That would be required in order for a permit to be issued, so.
Okay,
I think we just,
okay.
Okay.
our motion in support of that though is probably conditional on knowing that that has to happen, right? So we want to make sure we understand that.
Let's make that an express condition so that if for some reason this project is delayed or,
Right.
and you're aware of that.
Can it be taken down when the other one is substantially complete, so I can take some stuff out of there and transfer it, or do I have to tear it down, put it under tarps and, well, the other one's being constructed? I don't, whatever, I'll do whatever, that's fine.
We usually require to be removed first, but we.
Okay. I just, with the winter coming, you know what, the builder is hoping to, whatever.
I totally get what you're saying. The sequence is difficult.
Penciled in, but that's, well,
Normally, what they would do in that circumstance is before you get your certificate of occupancy for the new one, then your other one would have to come down.
Yeah. Yeah, you wouldn't be granted use of it until it happens.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. But access is tight, probably. To get that one out of there, depends on how you get it out, I guess. Okay, so we've got conditions, express condition, noted as well. Motion of support for all of that has been expressed, so I think it's time for a roll call.
Ms. Handle,
Yes.
Ms. Morgan,
Yes.
Mr. Cerny,
Yes.
Ms. Payne Nayak,
Yes.
and Debbie Fleece.
Yes. Okay,
Well, thank you very much.
variance
I very
approved.
much appreciate it.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks everyone for that. It takes us to the next item on our agenda tonight for public comments. So we'll take a moment and open the meeting up for a public comment. If anyone is interested in expressing anything that we need to hear, you're welcome to approach. Seeing none, I'm going to close public comment as well. So takes us to our next meeting, which is scheduled Monday, October 6th. So I'm assuming Dennis is back for that, but I think he said he was. Is everybody else available? Okay. Great. With that, motion to adjourn if it's out there. I will make it. Okay. Support. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, meeting adjourned. Thanks, everybody.